Ahmedabad.
Starting with the headlines first, Indian economy scripts history. Day after recording 13.5% GDP in Q1, surpasses UK to become fifth largest economy. Opposition's eerie silence on the success of Indian economy tries to find faults even as Indian economy breaks back-to-back records. Congress scheduled to conduct Bharat Jodo Yatra from September 8th. Price rise and inflation rally, key issues tomorrow. Nitish in National Capital after several JDU leaders desert him. KCR in Patna is a parallel opposition in the making. Pilot steals plane in Mississippi, threatens to hit Walmart, now goes off radar. Welcome friends, this Saturday evening. Indian economy is soaring, but the opposition is selectively silent on the same. We'll come back to discuss all that and more, but here's a report.
Soaring past the United Kingdom, India in the post-COVID world has emerged as the fifth largest economy.
Low base of last year, Q1 over 2020 when there was a lockdown also was low base. So it's all right, whatever be it. Compared to the economies that we are talking about, we are still on a very sound wicket. We are literally the fastest growing economy. The number, whether it is 7.8, 7.5, 7.4, all that is later when it comes. But we will be continuing to go in that strength. I think the people of India have really understood that they are coming out and spurring the economy, and I'm really grateful that they're coming out of the COVID distress.
India's USD 854.7 billion economy outpaced the UK, which has now been pushed to the sixth position with a size of USD 816 billion. However, this wouldn't be the first time that India achieved this feat. In 2019, India emerged as the fifth largest economy by overtaking the UK and France with a GDP of $2.94 trillion making. This is a massive achievement given how for 200 years India was plundered by the UK, which left us with a dilapidated economy in 1947. While India is on par to become the $5 trillion economy, the news does not bode well for UK, which is set to welcome a new Prime Minister while facing the fastest ever inflation in 4 decades in a cost of living crisis. Meanwhile, in India, the opposition seems to have turned a blind eye to the nation's soaring economy.
कोरोना के बाद के वक्त में सभी देशों ने तेज रफ्तार पकड़ ली। हमारा जो एक्सपेक्टेशन था या जो पहले आंकड़े सरकार भी दे रही थी, उसके मुताबिक तो जीडीपी का ग्रोथ नहीं हुआ है। फिर भी छोटी सी बात को पकड़ के बात का बतंगर बना के हम आगे बढ़ रहे हैं।
ये बिल्कुल ठीक कहा है। डॉलर की कीमत आसमान छू रही है और रुपया नीचे होता चला जा रहा है।
The Congress is scheduled to conduct Bharat Jodo campaign starting Sunday, even as other opposition leaders seem to form a parallel opposition. But will these aspirants for 2024 see through the politics and unite for a rising India? Bureau Report, Republic TV.
All right, welcome friends. This Saturday evening, guests with me to discuss whether opposition and where is the Congress party headed. Shazia Elmi of the BJP national spokesperson, live from Nagpur. Sandeep Ghosh, author and political commentator, leans towards the BJP, live from Kunur. Xavier Rodrigues, chief editor, Goa Chronicle, live from Goa, of course, a member of the BJP and spokesperson there. Kamru Chaudhary, leader, Congress, live from Kolkata. Suren Chauhan, advocate and political analyst, live from Delhi. Tausif Ahmed Khan represents TMC on the panel, advocate and political analyst, live from Calcutta. Kolkata, leans towards the TMC, of course. And Dinesh Varshney, professor, Delhi University and political analyst, best friend of Mr. Narendra Modi. Can I start with you, Mr. Dinesh Varshney? If India grows and the world acknowledges Why should opposition say, please don't sing?
First of all, I am not a friend of Narendra Modi ji. Number one, if India grows, it is in the benefit of all. Subject to that, there is no jumlas in the providing the data of that. No, subject to that, there is no jumlas in providing the data. Earlier also, Modi ji gave a data which later was found that the unorganized sector economy has not been taken into the account. And a similar thing has happened during the data of the unemployment and the price rise. And you have seen what is the dollar rupee rate. It is going more than the age of a chest of the Modi ji. If India grows, economy improves, it is in the benefit of the people of India. Subject to that, the people of India is not being committed on dacoity and money is being given to hand of few people. The monopoly earned the basic profit of the growing economy. And everything is put on sale towards them.
ये data क्या है वार्ष्णेय जी? ये data क्या है? Let me go to Sandeep Ghosh on that note. He'll bring some insights. I'll bring you data. But let's begin with the opening comments with everyone. Sandeep Ghosh, Varshney believes that data revealed by the government hides more than it reveals. The standard trick that the communists would throw at the BJP.
It is not a
first of all,
it is a fact.
First of all, they speak on road, just like pressing a button for some, preset recording. All these statements that only few people are benefiting, the country is not benefiting, the data is faulty, these do not stand the sanity test or the smell test. Because it is not just the government which is claiming that data. The data is getting endorsed or validated by a whole range of international and national institutions. There could be a variance of 1 or 2% plus minus, but that is sanity. It's not like somebody is claiming 100 and another person is saying it is 10. Okay, and when people comment about such stuff as dollar depreciation, they must also understand basic economics rather than again quote rhetoric as somebody's age. Somebody's age does not matter at all. Okay, see how the depreciation of other countries' dollars have happened. And if our dollar remained, rupee remained stronger than this, what would it would have done to Indian exports at this juncture? Okay, these are factors which people will have to apply rather than speak on the road on some very, very, standard phrases that only two people, Adani and Ambani, are gaining, and rest of the country is, suffering from the repeated, elections, the surveys which is going on, the ratings the Prime Minister is getting, and what is happening to the individual parties. Even today, you find Congress, they've had people resigning and going away. What is happening in the opposition camp? There is no unity. If people were so unanimous about the problem of the country, then they would have today spoken in one voice. But people just speak like Arvind Kejriwal, out in the different universe, which has got no relation. Criticize, by all means, criticize constructively, get the facts, but don't speak in the air with these sort of statements.
Tell me, instead of your cacophony, that what is the income increase of the monopolies during Corona pandemic and after the Corona pandemic, and how much income has been reduced of the common
Dinesh
masses?
Varshney.
Will you please?
Dinesh Varshney.
First of all, I don't know whether
Please
you know
understand.
the meaning of cacophony.
Not.
Whether you know the meaning of cacophony, there is no cacophony. No cacophony.
No.
Dinesh Varshney, hold on. Let's have a reasoned debate. It's a Saturday night. We can have a leisurely conversation because tomorrow is Sunday. Dinesh Varshney.
People don't even understand the difference
I'll
between
give you a chance.
valuation
Let
and
Sandeep
income.
Ghosh complete his point.
People talk of Adani's valuation going up. What does valuation mean? Valuation doesn't mean income. If the stock market is going up, if you have stocks, your valuation will go up. Tomorrow, if the stock market crashes, his valuation falls down. Elon Musk's valuation going up is not his income.
Through stock exchanges, the monopoly dictate the prices. This is an international fact.
So even if it goes up, Though
it the
if it
monopoly?
goes up, what does
Dinesh
it have?
Varshney,
No,
we have
it is
long
not.
outgrown
Well,
the days of
it is.
MRTPC Act.
Who
Dinesh
who
Varshney,
has the
we have
money?
long
Do you have,
outgrown.
Mr. Awasthi?
Hold on.
Do
Sandeep
you
Ghosh,
have
hold
the
on.
money
Sandeep
to-
Ghosh, hold on. Sandeep Ghosh, hold on. Sandeep Ghosh, hold on. Dinesh Varshney, let's not get into the hoary past of PC Mehlanobis and the MRTPC Act on this debate. These numbers that have come today, which are riling the opposition, I don't know for what, are of the IMF, International Monetary Fund. These are not of the Planning Commission, Niti Aayog. Planning Commission, of course, does not exist now. Niti Aayog or the Central Statistical Organization, NSSO. These are not Government of India figures. These have come from the International Monetary Fund, Dinesh Varshney. You should feel proud that your country is achieved that milestone where we are just ahead of the United Kingdom in 75th year of independence. Tausif Ahmed Khan.
International Monetary Fund and World Bank are also the tools of the international finance capital.
Tausif Ahmed Khan.
They favor the capitalist economy. They favor the capitalist profit. They ask the nation.
Okay, what's wrong with capitalism? What's wrong with capitalism? What's wrong with capitalism? Capitalism, rising tide raises all boats, and that's what capitalism is.
So
We are not having capitalism versus communism debate. Hold on.
So you want to go to China?
Dinesh Varshney, I was nice enough to start the debate with you. You're trying to derail it.
I'm not
Dinesh Varshney, I was nice enough to start the debate with you, but you are derailing it. I'll have to ask you to. I will have to ask you to give others an opportunity to participate. Listen, it's not India's decade. Let me go to Tausif Ahmed Khan. Dinesh Varshney, hold on. Let me go to Tausif Ahmed Khan. Respect Tausif Ahmed Khan. He's from TMC, he's not from BJP. It's not India's decade. It's India's century. Those are the words of McKinsey's Bob Sternfels. These came day before yesterday, before the numbers of GDP came in and the IMF announced that India is the 5th largest economy. There is this political argument that in 2014 we were part of the fragile 5 and today we are in the list of top 5. So maybe Shazia Ilmi can take credit representing the BJP, but why should you object to it, Tausif?
No, you see, BJP is claiming that India's position has strengthened, India has become better under Modi's regime. I ask a very simple question. If India has really progressed, then why 50 rupees petrol is now 100 rupees? Why 400, 500 rupees gas is now 1100, 1200 rupees? Why the unemployment rate, which was never so high in the last 3-4 decades, which we have seen now, why so much of chaos in the country, so much of crime against women is in the rise? We have seen all of that record is there. If India is really progressing today, BJP wants to come through some data,
I'll come to you.
And say, I have brought
Hold on,
Achhe Din.
Shazia, I'll come to you.
This is not Achhe Din. The definition of Achhe Din is not some data to come and show some kind of figure, projected figure, and say, look, India is growing. Why? What is the inflation rate today? What is the US dollar versus Indian rupees? Indian rupees then
Okay, you made your point, Tausif. Let Shazia respond.
40-50. Now it is about
Let Shazia
100
respond
against
now.
dollar. Where is
So,
this
Tausif,
Achhe Din?
Tausif,
This
I
is a
don't know.
very
Okay.
I
weak
don't know which
argument
world you live in.
and weak
Okay, let Shazia respond now.
materials that
One at a time.
BJP has brought
So when India
to tell
becomes
the
the
people
world's
that Achhe
5th
Din has
largest
arrived.
economy, and when it stumps United Kingdom to
Tausif,
take
hold
that
on.
position,
Shazia gets exactly
and
the
this
same
is
time that
based
you
on
got.
the latest calculations by Bloomberg. So let me tell you, and this has been while this was anticipated for a while because this has been done once earlier in 2001. But when you see this, Bloomberg has reached this conclusion by using the IMF database and historic exchange rates. That is how this conclusion has been reached. So this BJP is not saying this or tom-tomming it. This has come from the databases of IMF, and this has been what Bloomberg is saying. Now you're talking about the oil and petrol prices, gas prices. Surely you know what is going on in the world. You do read the papers. You do know about what is happening all over the world. You do know
Yeah,
what the
crude oil
crisis
is
that is.
cheaper than
So no,
what
be
it
quiet,
was
be quiet,
before.
because I need to tell you, because either you be behaving in an ignorant manner or feigning ignorance, but everybody,
No, no,
I think
you
you
are
must be the only
speaking
one who has
lies,
no idea
Shazia.
about the Russia-Ukraine
No, no
crisis
personal comment, Shazia.
and what is done to the prices all over. And thirdly, I don't know about this. I mean, I'm shocked. I mean, either you're again pretending to be an ignoramus or you actually are one. But surely you know that we have controlled inflation much better than
No, I am
most
calling out
economies
your
in the
lies.
world. No, Tausif, let me finish, because you were just either, I can't understand. I mean, were you pretending to not know this, or were you, I mean, were you acting silly, or are you not aware of the fact that there is a crisis like that? And that
Shazia, no
India has
personal comments.
actually handled its inflation very, very well. And we've had fiscally extremely prudent policies. And did you also not know about, when you talk about unemployment, that we've had a pandemic which has affected the entire world, the globe, and India has come out of it much better. We contributed to in fact, helping with the solution, and we actually had 4 of our own vaccines. So I don't know what is the problem with you.
Shazia,
Either
you
you
made your
don't
point.
know, or you pretend not to know,
The
Shazia,
or
you
credit
you
made your
just
point.
hate your
people of
country's
this
progress.
country,
Either
not
way,
the
Okay, Shazia,
either
you
way.
made your point.
I don't
Minister.
think your
Tausif, hold on, I have
fake
to
and
get others
false
also involved.
allegations deserve a
You see,
reply,
Tausif.
because they are too idiotic for anybody to answer.
Okay, Shazia, hold on.
Allegations.
You have made your point. You have made your point. You have made your point. Tausif and Dinesh Varshney raised 2 issues: unemployment,
Where
right?
do you live, man?
unemployment and inflation. Unemployment and inflation. Now, what is the situation of inflation around the world? Pakistan 25%, Sri Lanka 35%, they are our neighbors. United States 12%, Germany 11%, United Kingdom 10%, we are between 6 and 7%. It had crossed 7%, come down below 7%. The RBI says that we are on track of getting it in the range of 4 to 6%, which is the standard range in which, the broad range in which the RBI typically keeps inflation. Remember, also, Tausif and Dinesh Varshney, I understand some economics. Some measure of inflation is needed to keep pace and, keep growing, because deflation can have bad influence on growth parameters also. Let me go to Savio Rodriguez on that note. Savio, the opposition seems to be just trying to oppose for the sake of opposition. That seems to be the message coming in, because remember, despite the fact that the United States has been officially declared in recession with 2 back-to-back quarters of negative growth, India has registered exports of $192 billion. That's Commerce Secretary BVR Subramaniam giving the figures just about 5 hours back. In the April to August period, the last 5 months, typically the time when US has been in recession, officially declared in recession, and US happens to be our biggest export market. Despite that, our exports amount to $192 billion. I think we are doing something right. The opposition seems to be not willing to give credit to you, Savio.
The whole problem with the opposition is, if you remember when we were children, we used to have a toy called the Jack in the Box. Somebody opens the Jack in the Box and there's this thing that pops out and it creates a little bit of a fear, and then you realize it's just a joker in the box. And that's how the opposition is. A joker in the box creates a fear psychosis in you, and then you realize that it's really just a joker. But having said that, I normally dabble in startups, so the purview that I have is from a startup perspective. When people talk about unemployment, one of the major problems in this country is this dependency on government jobs, and I think India is moving a little ahead from there, and you have a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of young brains in India, a lot of youth in India that's moving assertively towards the startup space. Now, let me give you one figure to give you an indication of how growth is progressing within this particular space. You had last year, around the same time of the first quarter, 5.7 billion that came into Indian startups for the first quarter of 2021. Now, when you compare that to the first quarter of 2022, 10 billion US dollars have come in. Now, what does that signify? It signifies a confidence in the investors that are wanting to invest into Indian startups. And when the startups segment, when what you normally see as an MSME segment actually starts picking up, that is when there is progress happening in the country. And the most important thing for us to understand, and we will continue to compare figures, what the opposition is not understanding while they go on about petrol, they go on about various other aspects of the conversation, the problem that they have is that they are repeated information that they keep putting out which does not have any facts or figures attached to it. Now, progress is what? Is any country not going to have problems? Of course, we're going to have economic problems. You're going to deal with the economic problems. You're going to move ahead. But a fear psychosis doesn't help anybody. Today, everybody is talking about jobs. Let's create jobs.
Fear psychosis.
I'm saying, why create jobs? Create entrepreneurs.
Let's understand the fear psychosis.
Create entrepreneurs.
We create jobs also. I mean, Savio is a huge population. We need jobs also. So, you might not be right. Everyone can't be an entrepreneur because, it comes with a certain skill set and with a certain mindset.
The entrepreneurs create jobs.
We have to create jobs.
Abhishek,
now, listen.
The entrepreneurs create jobs. You have to create a spirit of entrepreneurship.
Okay, but everyone can't be an entrepreneur to begin with.
The government is a facilitator.
Hold on, let me take this argument forward, Savio. Let me take this argument forward.
So how has progress happened in India?
Now the McKinsey...
How has progress happened in India, if not through enterprise?
Arey Baba, listen, Savio, let me take the argument forward. Your point is taken. Your point is taken. I am not Kamru Chaudhary. This is Abhishek Kapoor. Savio, hold on. Yeah, so I have to go to Suren Chauhan and Kamru Chaudhary also, Savio. You see, the McKinsey report I was quoting, it says that McKinsey plans a disproportionate commitment to India, and that's why its global board would be coming to the country in December. The firm has 5,000 employees as of today in India, and they want to double the number over the next 2 to 3 quarters to 10,000. These are going to be jobs created in India for Indians. And this is just a small example. I'm not saying this is big. There are other figures of unemployment, and this is a report in a financial daily. This is from yesterday, and it says unemployment in Indian cities hits 4-year low at 7.6% April to June. Suren Chauhan, there is this Hindi saying, Gagar, Gagar, Boond Boond se Gagar Bharti, Gagar, Gagar, Sagar. Step by step you move in a certain direction. Prime Minister has given a target of making India a developed country by 2047. Obviously, we have to take small steps and keep moving. Why grudge a report of IMF which says that India is the 5th largest economy now?
So, Abhishek, it's just a hype created by the Honorable Prime Minister. 2047, a setup is there. So, hype is created. You feel good to see India edge UK as the 5th largest economy, but what is the hype? 140 crore population India has got as compared to UK. So what is the per capita GDP? GDP growth rate is what? We are only $2,200 and $47,000 in UK. So you have to see the hype is created. What a common man is getting in India. 60 rupees a litre of milk. 60 rupees a litre of milk. It was 35 rupees a litre. So you are saying a hype is created
which, by
overall.
The way, is 120 rupees in Pakistan. 150
price
rupees in Sri Lanka.
Who is going to control it? Forget about Sri Lanka. Talk about India.
Made a point. Suren Chauhan.
We are Indians. Let's talk about India.
I am talking about India. I am talking about India, but things are always relative. Topical issues are always relative. If inflation is 25% in Pakistan, 35% in India, and 7%, 35% in Sri Lanka, and 7% in India, we must be doing something right. We must be doing something right.
So what is per
who's to blame for GDP per capita? You bring in a population control law. Then you would say, no, that is communal. Shazia
now the government of India,
are you going to make population control law, and then Suren Chauhan and Kamru Chaudhary are going to support it?
No,
Shazia, please bring in population control law. Suren Chauhan and Kamru Chaudhary are going to support
it. I think yesterday there was such a big day on the naval ensign, changing of that and coming out of the clutches of the colonial hangover, and there was criticism. Central Vista, there was criticism. Why are the lions not roaring? Why aren't they just smiling complacently? There was criticism. So I don't know. I think, somewhere when the opposition overdoes it and does it for the sake of doing it, they lose their own credibility, because these are moments to savor, and and also to work together in unison with the government, saying yes, we must be doing something right, and we are in it together. These are tough times, and obviously everything will not be perfect, but somewhere there must be something not so bad about what the government is doing, that we are controlling the inflation in a reasonably prudent manner, and the policies have held us in good stead, that the things have not gone out of hand. But there is only absolutely baseless criticism, almost ludicrous proportions.
Baseless criticism. Kamru Chaudhary.
Inflation is
Let it be Shazia versus Kamru Chaudhary.
In a vacuum. So
let it be Shazia versus Kamru Chaudhary. Hold on. Let it be Shazia versus Kamru Chaudhary. Shazia, you have made your point again. I'll come to you. Kamru Chaudhary. Shazia Elmi says baseless opposition. GST withdraw, despite the fact that the Congress was integral to the GST decision making. You don't want the lions to be roaring. You want them to be docile. You are opposed to Central Vista. You are opposed to new parliament. Opposing for the sake of opposition, Kamru Chaudhary.
Yeah, we are opposed to Shazia Ilmi's party on a principled basis. You see, the fruits of liberalization started by Manmohan Singh in 1991 are yielding results for so long. And there is a continuity in governance according to me, according to Indians, but according to Shazia Ilmi and her party, India acquired independence in 2014. Now let me cite some facts for you. When we are discussing that India has overtaken UK, you just see, you did not quote a very important data. What is the per capita GDP of India? It's $2,500, and UK it is $47,000. You care to not
again same argument. Shazia Elmi, please bring population control law.
Now tell me one more thing. One more thing. Let me come in. Let me. When we speak about the minus 23.9% degrowth that happened during the COVID times, it has come to 3% now.
Through March was $854.7 billion as compared to UK's $8.6 billion. So I can quote the figure as compared to
why aren't people buying gas cylinders now?
So
why don't you discuss about those things?
Which makes it right.
Shazia ji, one thing you tell me, just one simple question.
So the idea
what
is,
happened to the targeted Ujjwala scheme?
Against my data.
Why
do it?
What happened to the targeted Ujjwala scheme? Only person who has gained out of these liberalization policies of Narendra Modi and his government is Mr. Adani.
Okay, that's very interesting. Kamru Chaudhary, hold on, Shazia, hold on, I have to come in here. Kamru Chaudhary began by saying, Kamru Chaudhary began by saying, liberalization was fantastic when it was started by Dr. Manmohan Singh in 1991, but the liberalization that Narendra Modi is doing, targeted subsidies, removal of subsidies, state welfareism when COVID happens, free ration to everyone, then liberalization becomes wrong. Kamru Chaudhary, double standards?
No double standard. You tell me India is the third largest economy, and I am ashamed today on national television that 80 crores of our citizens have to be given 5 kg rice. We don't have an employment opportunity for the youth of the country. We have seen.
Kamru Chaudhary, you have not seen the food stamp riots taking place in the United States. You have not seen the long queues for free ration in Italy, in Milan, their fashion capital, just 2 days back. Kamru Chaudhary, don't be so disparaging of your own country, for God's sake.
To other countries' economy. Only thing
Kamru Chaudhary, don't be so disparaging of your own country, for God's sake. You are seeing
it is now 106 rupees. In 2014, I knew the gas cylinder was 400 rupees. It is now 1100 rupees. I give a damn to other countries.
The same Kamru Chaudhary would say that salaries of government employees should double every 5 years after every after every
Kamru Chaudhary, do you realize
pay
that
commission,
nobody lives in a vacuum?
you are okay
Do you know
with salary
international
rise
trade and
every 5
prices
years,
are
but you don't want
interconnected?
commodity prices to rise. You
Sorry,
don't understand the
come on.
basics of economics.
You must know
Hold
some
on.
very
I have to get.
basic-
Let's have a very reasoned argument. I have to get Sandeep Ghosh back. I have to get Dinesh Varshney back. Hold on. Kamru Chaudhary, hold on. The basics of economics. Kamru Chaudhary, basics of economics. Kamru Chaudhary, basics of economics. If the inflation leads to salary raise and paying capacity, so it affects commodity prices also. Hold on, you are talking to somebody who understands economics. I have to get in.
Now it is 1100.
Hold on.
A liter of petrol was
Mr. Chaudhary.
I have to get in Dinesh Varshney, Tausif and Sandeep Ghosh back in the debate.
I knew.
Mr.
I knew
Chaudhary.
at the end of the
All
month,
right.
I did not have to pay any.
You have made your
tax
point.
for using
You have
a
made your point.
illegal. I did not have to pay tax for breathing.
Kamru Chaudhary, we still have half an hour. I will get you again. Please hold on. You have made your point. We are moving ahead in the debate. Kamru Chaudhary. You know, I have to
Mr.
get
Chaudhary.
Dinesh Varshney and Sandeep Ghosh. Now, it's a very important point, in a very important argument I am making. Both sides listen, and then I will invite your comments on that. In economics, there is something called rule of 72. If you are growing at 10%, 72 divided by 10, you double as your GDP in 7 years. If you are growing at 15%, the rule of 72 says 72 divided by 15%, you grow double your GDP in between 6 and 7 years. Now, going by that rule, and India is growing at 7%. From $3 trillion today, nobody can stop us. You know, basics of economics. Dinesh Varshney. Nobody can stop us from becoming anything. I'm giving a broad range. Anything between 20 to 25 trillion dollar economy by 2047, which means we would be second largest economy just behind China. Basics of economics, something which P. Chidambaram was telling the parliament about 2 sessions back. If P. Chidambaram says it, you would believe it. If I am telling you, you have objections. Dinesh Varshney?
Look, Abhishek, it will automatically go to death, even if you don't want. The only problem is when you talk of inflation.
Don't give credit to Narendra Modi. You admit that India would be the second largest economy.
Please listen to me. When you talk of inflation, inflation helps the few, not the marginalized society. 85% of the Indian population is a marginalized society. Similarly, you are making a wrong example with the wrong example. You are quoting the inflation rate of America, England, Germany, and other nations. All of them are capitalist nations. All the capitalist nations have been exposed during the corona pandemic. The monopoly profit have increased and the people's income has decreased. How this has happened? Because of the finance capital role and because of the government policies in favor of the capitalists. This has happened in India, this has happened in America, this has happened in Italy, this has happened in France, this has happened everywhere.
Okay, you are making a valid argument.
Says,
given, let Sandeep Ghosh respond to it. Sandeep Ghosh, Varshney is saying, okay, fine, economy is growing, we would double, triple, and maybe by 2047, as I mentioned, we would be the second largest economy. He has no objections. He's saying his grouse is that income inequality is increasing. Sandeep Ghosh, how to address that?
Okay. First question is, I totally appreciate. Of course. I hear all of that. So tell me, Mr. Varshney, Mr. Varshney, tell me how the leading communist. Okay, Mr. Varshney, we have heard you. We have heard you. Okay, we have heard you.
Mr. Varshney, be a good sport. I gave you all opportunity to make your point. Let Sandeep Ghosh rebut. Let Sandeep Ghosh respond now.
Now, Mr. Varshney, tell me.
The subsidy has been given
Mr.
to the
Varshney, no, he is not willing to speak. He doesn't want to hear because he knows the arguments will be demolished. Tell me, Mr. Varshney, what has happened to the communists?
How can you say that?
First, listen.
You tell me.
I will tell you how. First of all, you tell me what has happened to you.
Okay, Dinesh Varshney, hold on here. You are not being a good sport. Dinesh Varshney, this is bad. This is bad manners. Dinesh Varshney, this is bad manners. Hold on, you have made your point. Let Sandeep Ghosh respond to you, for God's sake.
I will answer. I will answer you. Hello, Mr. Varshney, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Tell me what has happened in China, your great communist country, during pandemic. They're even right now going into closure. What has happened in Russia? Okay, what has happened in Russia? Which other communist country are you talking about?
Dinesh Varshney, this is classic filibuster of an argument that is being put across by Sandeep Ghosh.
Which is the other communist country?
Government of India
which oh, then that's why, yeah, and therefore China.
Hold on, son. Dinesh Varshney.
He doesn't have
Sandeep Ghosh, hold on. Dinesh Varshney, you are being a very bad sport. Dinesh Varshney, you are being a very bad sport. We are having a very reasoned argument, fantastic debate, points being made. You know, very intense intellectual arguments being made. Dinesh Varshney, you are spoiling it. Hold on. We'll continue this. I have to bring in another aspect to